Alright guys, so first things first, you want to go ahead and season your beef. And I'm using some garlic that I cut up, some seasoning peppers, scallions, onions, and I'm also using some all-purpose adobe seasoning. And I'm gonna also use some seasoning for Mrs. Dash. So I'm just using some seasonings that I have on hand. And you can never have too much garlic, so of course I'm adding some more garlic, and this is like some pureed garlic I'm adding in there, mixing that in. And then we're pretty much done with the seasoning, so let's go ahead and start making our soup. Here I'm adding a little bit of avocado oil, which I'm going to sear the meat in. And you just want to do that for a little bit, let the meat cook on each side for a couple minutes. And make sure that your meat is nice and soft, so you want to cook it down for about 1.5 to 2 hours. So you're going to add some water, keep cooking it until it's nice and soft. Here I'm adding some water that I just fill in the same pan that I use to season my meat, and I'm just covering the meat with that. And then I'm going to repeat that process a few times. You want to check your meat periodically because you want to really get that beef nice and tender. While the meat is cooking, I'm going to prep most of my ingredients for my soup, and I'm using corn. I love corn in my soup. I put corn in pretty much all the soups that I make. Corn, carrots, and later on you guys gonna see me cut up some yams and make my dumplings and stuff. So yeah. Alright, so now that that's done, I'm gonna go ahead and add some onions, peppers, and scallions to the pot that we seared the meat in for a few minutes, and then I'm gonna add my pumpkin. So once your pumpkin start to break down a little, you're gonna add some water and the rest of your ingredients, and all that flavor from the pot is gonna release and add all the flavor to your soup. Here I'm cutting up some yam that I've peeled. I love yam, you guys. Funny enough, I hated yam when I was younger, but now I love yam. So I'm just cutting up some white yam. I'm gonna add that to my soup, and then I'm gonna make some dumplings. Dumpling is just flour, water, and salt. For my Caribbean people, you guys gonna basically know that. This is literally how you make dumplings. Unless you're making like cassava or cornmeal dumplings or something, you're gonna add, that specific ingredient to flavor the dumpling. But dumpling is pretty much salt, flour, and water. And I'm tasting the flour to know if it have enough salt. This is how we measure stuff back home. This is how my mother does it, and it does it the trick every time. Every time you use flour, like for bread or for whatever you're using flour for, just take a little bit and just taste it. And if you can taste the salt, then you know it's good. You don't need to add any more salt. And here I'm adding some chicken noodle soup in there. You could add beef, whichever one. I like adding, some of that. Give it a little extra kick, extra flavor. Then I'm just going to smash some of my pumpkin against the corner of my pot. And the pumpkin is going to thicken up the soup just a little bit, which I love. So I'm just going to smash majority of the pumpkin along the sides of the pot. Then I'm going to add my meat in there. And you guys could see how tender the meat is. It's like literally like falling apart. So I'm just gonna add the meat. It was at this point that I remember that I had celery, so I'm just gonna add one stick that I cut up. But you would want to do that like earlier when you add your onions and stuff. But it's fine. I'm just gonna add it right here. Let that cook down for a little bit. Then I'm gonna add my dumplings. And I know my pot is always too small every time I'm making soup. I know somebody's going to say, but don't judge me, okay? I don't have bigger pots. And I just don't know how to cook a little bit of food. I always cook too much, so my pot is always too small. But it worked. I promise you. It worked. There's a method to my madness, okay? Guys, the beef was so nice and tender and everything was just so good. Alright, so I'm just gonna remove the thyme sprigs and my soup is basically done. Just go ahead and plate me up some, well, put some in a bowl and go to town because you guys, I was so hungry at this point. As always, guys, I really appreciate you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.